back on the tail of Gunnar. He's looking to make an overtake already. Down the inside he goes.
Is he gonna go?
He's gonna do it!
Oh, with Hackett now up into P9. Down the inside he goes. Another aggressive move on the other Mercedes driver. Is he gonna make a mistake? Doesn't look like.
Closing. Problem is, if he goes.
Oh, that's nice for Broad Adam, moving up to P7.
As he's currently looking to gain about 3 or 4 points. Oh, and is Nelboy going to go for it down the inside of Waza? Seems like he is, and he makes up that position. Beautiful overtake by Nelboy.
12 races, multiple divisions, 20 drivers.
All that sound good? Then why not join us now ahead of the new season? The link to our Discord will be in the description, and we hope to see you on track with us.
Delta T Racing.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to DTR. Just before I get into things, I want to say that there's been a few settings changes to some of the audio, particularly. So if you pick up on anything being too quiet or too loud, just let me know in the chat, and I shall try and sort any issues for you. But without further ado, let's not waste any time. We are here in Mexico City, roughly 7,500 feet above sea level. But don't expect racing standards to be that high. We do love a bit of drama in Division 2. High degradation, haven around here, with plenty of DRS overtaking assistance, should provide some great wheel-to-wheel action. Of course, you are with me commentating here by Grelis33. Let's get going as we see the first few drivers jump out onto track. Have a quick look at the overall standings going into this race. After his second ever win in a league race, D Summers still holds out in P1, 119 points for him after 7 rounds. Johnny following not too far behind. A second place and fastest lap for him can mean that if Summers doesn't score, he'll be joint leading the championship. Connor, his teammate, has had a slight mishap in Austin, taking only 16th place there. Andre and Pipke, the forever consistent Ferraris, doing very, very good work in 4th and 5th, keeping them in the hunt of the championship constructors-wise. Bogorovsky, after a really 22nd, he seems to have finished there. I don't know how he's quite managed that. But a DNF at turn 1 means he's looking for vengeance around this track. Homer, Nelboy, Tom Potier and Ralph Bose finish out your top 10 for now. Of course, the Racing Bulls in 2nd and 3rd lead the constructors standings with 186 points, followed not too far behind by the Ferraris of Andre and Pipke. McLaren take the 3rd spot with Haas and Red Bull and Mercedes picking up all of the rest of the points, really. The last few pickings taken by the bottom 4 teams, well, they're just not really in the fight at all. But hopefully around this track they might be able to get back into it. So we'll jump on board with, hopefully, actually the driver who gets across the line first, but I've got no idea who it is because everyone is out. Tom Putty looks to be just ahead. We've got Havoc Connor in P10, but he's not quite ahead, so I think it might be Tom Putty. Keep an eye anyway, but we'll stay on board with Tom Putty as I usually do at the start of a qualifying session. Got a few chatters. Mirror, good luck to Andre. Don't bring shame. That's a very light bit of assistance there. Don't bring shame. I mean, I don't know exactly what that entails. Where should he finish to not bring shame? That's an invalid lap there, Tom Putty. Let's past a Williams. That must be Pombeer potentially. Yes, it is, into the final part of the track. The stadium section is one of, if not the hardest sections on the entire calendar and DTR calendar. I mean, no, NLD Rush comes across the line with a 16.646 to take pole. The 2 Williams, 2nd and 3rd. Pipke smashes that out of the water with 16.1. We will definitely see some 15s tonight, hopefully pretty soon. Raikkonen set to 17.7. He'll be wanting to improve on that. who's next with a couple of McLarens. D Summers, your championship leader for the moment. Plenty of battery in that car left over, actually, after that lap. A 16.4 will do for now as a banker. But I'm sure he'll be wanting a lot more time out of his lap than that. Harry Bogorovsky, a 16.6, not a bad banker for him. He will be looking for a little bit more than the top half of the finishers by the time qualifying has ended. Young Exility, his teammate, picks up 5th place for now. Brother Adam in the Mercedes 17.6. That's a nice banker for him. Got a few yellow flags. Johnny to the 16.294 for P2. That is fantastic there. Just make sure I've got everything on screen I need. Yeah, I have. Right, let's have a look. Zingle is on his lap. Just missed. No, who was that? Skipper 17.1 and Lakatsis also with a 17.1. Andre just sneaks in to the 116 with a 16.933. Homer a 16.693 for him. Plenty of times been set really early on. I'm slightly intrigued to see why so many people come out straight away. Dingle didn't set a time there. Maybe I was being silly and missed him invalidating. A few more outlappers. In fact, Howard Connors going straight into the pits with loads of battery. Maybe he had a mistake early on, which he decided to abort a lap with anyway. Composite through the double right-hander of Sector 2. I must admit, those two corners there I really enjoy. Not exactly sure why. Not making any overtakes or anything through there, but if you can hook those up, just cut as much corner as possible. And Andre's retired from the session, and that's why he's in the wall. Front left seems to be sparkling away. New Year's, not quite yet, sir. Can put the sparklers away for now. Oh, Andre, what are you doing? At least you've got a single lap in. But, yeah, not great. Composite comes across the line, a 1:20.9. He likes to do a double outlap, this man in the Kicksauber. Game L. I'm not going to lie, I have no idea what you're about. Anyway, we're stuck on board for Composite for this lap. A nice line through the first 3 corners. Those are incredibly tricky, especially if you are tempted to take a lot of curb. That's the first. You might not be last just yet. We'll wait and see, Andre. Again, left and right. Plenty of that painted curb taken, but none of the sausage curb. Wow. I must admit, I'm pretty surprised the lines Composites managed to take through here. Nice clean lap. Maybe just taking a little bit slow for his first banker of this session. DRS on and DRS down this back straight. You can make moves actually into this right-hander here, but you've got to have a good amount of overspeed and potentially the tyre offset to make it on the brakes. A lovely left-hander that definitely does not ruin your tyres and make you hate yourself. In the stadium section, a good right-hander at the end, powered down nice and early, battery used very efficiently through that lap. An 18.5 will do him very well. Pavlo has only just about managed to dig into the 119s by literally 1,000th of a 10th, seeing Andre drop down the order as people further up start to make improvements. Yeah, no good, Andre. I think, Mirror, you put a bit too much pressure on him early on. But maybe he'll put it back in the race. E10 is my place. Johnny on another outlap here. His teammate yet to set a lap, actually, which was a little bit worrying early on. You don't really want to be missing out on laps when you use tyres. Got plenty of drivers again on track on laps now. We've got a Haas actually. You just come around the car final corner. Looks like he's into the pits. A Mercedes of Brother Adam. I believe he actually just did his lap. Yeah, he is up in his Delta, or rather down on his Delta. Composite, next man to come across the line by the looks of it, but he's just done his lap as we saw. We got another Mercedes, Tom Putty. He's coming in this lap. Eventually, Williams are not D-Rush, but his teammate. Where is he? Pombeer. Across the line, maybe to start his lap, and then he's got a V-carb. Oh no, it's a Red Bull of Hummer. That is going to be bad for him. Anyway, 15.5 the new pole time. He's actually just been given a tow by the Williams all the way down the straight. That's interesting. Inter-team, not battling, sorry, assistance there between the Williams and the Red Bull. Gotta say, Pippi, that's a cracking lap, and have a corner for you as well. 15.8 is nice for now. After you bottled the first one, always tricky to gain confidence after you invalidate or spin or just mess up your first lap. You always put the extra bit of pressure on the coming laps from that. Hummer will, of course, be having a little bit of added pressure. After getting the toe down the straight, you don't want to be getting toes and then not making use of them. Almost thought he invalidated through one of the S's in the S section. Lovely amount of that inside curb taken without hitting the sausage curb. A little bit deep into that left-hander, and a bit of sausage curb for good measure. You can almost invalidate coming out of there. The curb cuts into the track much more than you'd expect. A drive onto the line and a fourth place, 16.138 for the Red Bull man for now. We got a Ferrari. Of course, not Andre. Pipke can be coming to the pits. Behind him, another pitter in the other Red Bull. Johnny on his lap. Plenty of battery used, maybe a little bit too much. A little bit left to burn down this straight, but it'll be 0 for the rest of the way almost. McLaren ahead, and oh, he's in to the pits. I would assume he's not happy with that lap. McLaren in front of him, likely impeded, even if just a little bit. He was not happy with that at all. Other McLaren just going past us wasn't D Summers, but D Summers is on a lap. A lot of curb taken in turn 1 and turn 3 through that section. Of course, if your setup is built different, you can take those and not lose time. Yellow flag in sector 3, I think it's Haas getting out of the way. A potential purple sector for D Summers in his McLaren. Just looks a little bit twitchy. His setup around those double right-handers there. A little bit of grass on the inside taken is what you meant to do. Riding the curb in that right-hander is always sketchy. Nice lines taken through there using all of the track he can possibly use. Little bit hesitant into that right-hander. Much more track on the left-hand side he can get his wheels onto and make the corner much wider. He doesn't go deep into that stadium section, which is always good for the time. Again, a little hesitant actually on the exit of the stadium section, but a decent lap into the 15s he goes with a 15.847. His teammate, if I get down to him, Zingle, 117. It's just going to stay at 17 actually. He's invalidated that lap. Avlo's done an 18.8. Improved. We've got Nathan in the lobby, a 17.0 of the P12. That's good for him, considering I don't think he would have done any practice really going into this. Of course, hooking the kids into the bed as fast as a pit stop crew in Formula 1 does when he can. He'll get there later, of course, as well. Kids are a nightmare, at least from our been told. Back up to the top, Johnny. That's an interesting strategy to warm the tyres. Back up to the top. We've got Johnny on a 15.797. Pipke running away a little bit here. 2/10 the gap between him and the rest of the pack. And then it's pretty tight all the way down. D Summers, of course, on his in-lap. His teammate is coming. Is he still in pits, actually? Got Barry Bogorowski. Is he on a lap? If he is, he's used a lot of battery already. He's in hot lap. And over to, yeah, it looks like Boggy's on a lap. Stick with him through his S section for sure. Can learn a lot about a driver and his setup going through this part of the track. Able to take a much wider line there. DRS on, DRS open into the stadium section. That's actually really nice and smooth into there. Again, goes a little bit deep, but does use it to its effect to open up the exit and get the power down a little bit better. Always turning the battery on really early out of those corners. Just hit by his teammate for now. 200ths the gap between those two. Hummer starting a lap. E-Rush is on his lap, and Pombi, I believe, has just started a lap for himself. He's actually getting a tow from the Red Bull in front, doing each other a favour. Right off board with this one. They always get an off-board shot in qualifying. And see how much the car was unsettled by those sausage curbs through the first few corners. No tow for him here, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. The car sparking there as he goes into the braking zone. Very zoomed in, that camera angle. Nice turn in there. Looks nice and responsive on the front. A little bit of track to be used. A little bit of traffic as well, actually, through this section. That is the last thing you want. Dirty air through here is only going to make it worse for you. Pretty tidy lap for now. The McLaren moves out of the way. Into the stadium section, a lot of that inside curb taken. You see how much the car rolls as he takes it. Get a wide of that apex, but that shouldn't be too bad. Around the final corner he comes. ERS on, of course. 1:17.2 is the time now. He moves up to a 16.925, about a 3/10 improvement. The Williams driver there. Hummer starting his lap. Looks like he was maybe trying to get a bit of a tow from his teammate, or not teammate, but friend at least again, but he won't get one as he was a bit too far back. Penalty rush up to P2 with a 15.739. Apologies for missing that one. That is a fantastic time for him. If he can stay there in P2, he will be absolutely ecstatic. 2 minutes left to go. You drivers out now, you're only going to get one more lap in, unless you're already on your lap and can go again. Just trying to figure out who is coming around the final corners. We've just seen have a kind of start a lap. Almost getting onto the grass there. I think he's clearly at peace with the tequila. Potentially. I mean, a lot of people do say that after a few, you do drive better. Oh, that is really wide. Surely that's not invalid. He must have lost a lot of time out of the third corner there. DRS and ERS on to try and make up for it. And just a little deep. A bit of sausage curve taken there and almost invalidates again. Please don't talk about tacos. I am starving. I would smash some tacos right now. Those tacos, what do you want to call it? Stomach's actually just rumbled because you said that. I don't think this is going to be an improvement. 98,000 under his time, actually. So you might see a little bit of an improvement. Taco Bell Uber Eats. Oh, no, you can't. I can't do that while I'm streaming. Not while I'm commentating. Will he improve? He doesn't. 2/10 off. Final sector must have done him as well. A little bit of less battery, I think he would have had based off his first few sectors, trying to make up for lost time early on in the lap. A 15.8 for D Summers. You've got to say, if he's had a good lap, it's going to improve. But where would he go? Round the final corner, across the line. D Summers, P2, a 15.642. Pipke is unchallenged for now. A 2/10 improvement will be good for second place for now, though. Here we got Hummer, looks to be out of this session, a 15.9, his final time. Brother Adam also a 16.3. Facility out as well. Boggs finished. Got a few finishes at the bottom. Andre, P13, despite his crash early on in qualifying, isn't too bad for him. Order for when it's done. Well, I'll order at the end because I can't think about what I want to eat as well as watch this. Few more finishes. We've got a Haas across the line. Young Utilities did not improve. Still 6th place for him. Ferrari driver across the line now. Pipke does not improve on his time. And the Mercedes of Brother Adam, I believe that was, just finishes. No improvement again. And I think that's everyone. waiting for people to make it around the track and get into the pit lane. But that is your finishing order for qualifying. Ipke setting the pace early on in that session, go pole with a 15.5 is honestly astounding. I expected Summers to potentially fight for pole at the end there, but nothing would do. NLD Rush, maybe a surprise for top 3 in qualifying, but his pace is not unknown. Just qualifying is not usually where he succeeds. The two RBs, of course, as ever, consistent in the top 5, despite a little bit of qualifying woes for Havoc Connor. Right, we'll have a look at the rest of the order. So we get through these screens. Here we go. Young, Exility, and Bogorovsky, the two Haas boys, managing to go 6th, 7th. Had to get it in there. I really apologise for anyone listening. And if you're watching this back, I'm not going to tell you. It's in there. Homer P8 and Brother Adam P9. Tiny Penguin, despite not looking forward to this race and saying if he crashes, he will not race again, finishes in the top 10 of qualifying. That is points, of course. The rest, as you can see there on your screen, are the final 10 of the pack. Taco Bell is a shout though. I don't know if you've seen, but they're doing like I saw it the other day. I was looking on Uber Eats. Like it's basically a few of their usual items with cheese on, like on the outside. Looks incredible. Looks absolutely incredible. And maybe even a Pepe's burrito. Can't do. Not with going out tomorrow. I need my stomach to be in a good place, not a slightly dodgy place. As much as Pepe's is so worth it, I would not be in. I look, I won't go into detail, but they're definitely better food. Waiting for players. Of course, in this this time here, they'll be fretting about their setups, having horrendous tyre wear and absolutely worse tyre temps. But a little bit of consolation, the clouds seem to be lingering, hopefully with no rain in. Will of course keep your tyre temps down a little bit and manage wear somewhat. A one stop is possible around here. We definitely saw at least one person do it yesterday in Division 1 in Bogorovsky. Whether he will try and do that again tonight, we will have to wait and find out. Two stop is preferred. You can get a hard set of, or well, the hard allocation tyres and go double hard with a medium stuck somewhere on the outside or in between. That is also a very viable strategy. We will have a look quickly at tyres for people to start on. All mediums bar 2. NLD Rush and Tom Putty starting on the hard tyres. I think we actually saw one person go long on the hards yesterday and finish on mediums. That is a strategy that I almost never go to, but if it works for some people, then fair play. People do the usual and ride on board, at least for the first part of the straight into turn 1 with NLD Rush, but I think the off-board camera does look pretty good into turn 1 around here, so we'll jump off board around halfway there. Just want to see who gets a good launch and who doesn't at the start. Of course, NLD Rush on the hard tyres, already at a disadvantage for trying to get to turn 1, but as soon as you get in that slipstream, you've got all the advantage you need and all of the track space, essentially. It's that long near the turn 1 that you can basically make any losses back with a bit of ERS and slipstream to boot. Well, hey, that was almost into the wall. Bit of aggressive tyre warming there from the Williams driver. Almost puts himself in the wall. Thankfully, he doesn't. You line up onto the grid. Piney has somehow qualified himself from the start already. Not sure what he did there. He's well back from his grid spot. If he loses any positions near the start, Hummer also misses his grid spot. Of course, after the first couple of laps, we will miss that voice. Thank you, Honey Badger. Thank you. We missed you. S2 Racing. You've, of course, you wouldn't be here in Division 2 because you're far too quick in Division 1. Anyway, that's enough about that. We've got 0 lights on at the moment as the game decides to get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights. Holds them for a long time there. Again, as I mentioned, the hard's not got the best start, but with a bit of ERS and a slipstream from out in front, he will have a decent attempt, at least, of P4 with Johnny on the inside. That is an aggressive move to the outside. Oh, a bit of a lock-up, bit of banging going on there. Just trying to analyse what's going on. We got a pass up a lot of places, but into the grass potentially on turn 3. Too wide again into this next set of corners. The front guys are already settled. Oh, that's a dive from Williams. He's going to spin. That might be absolutely catastrophic for people behind. Oh, lovely camera here. Off board, we got a few slow drivers at the back. We'll pay attention to those when we have a look at the positions gained and lost. And Alpine off the track at the back with a little bit of issue on the rear tyres. We've already got people going wide. That's a V-car with some wing damage by the looks of it. Hopefully he won't hold up. It's Connor. That's a shame for him after a dodgy race yesterday. An even dodgier start for him today is not what he wanted. Dive from the Pick Sauber on Brother Adam there. Of all the people you want to dive into a corner like that, he's not one of them, although I think I can see a bit of damage actually on that Mercedes. 50 sets fastest lap, of course, as he is leading. A 1 second gap already for him. Could we see a bit of dominance from the Ferrari driver here tonight? That would be fantastic. We'll let the few hitters hit, and once we have, we will have a quick look at the positions gained and lost. If I can remember where it is. I never seem to. Here we go. Pipke and D Summers get away with all of the carnage at the start. No positions lost or gained for them. Biggest winner looks to be Andre. That's fantastic news for him after crashing out in qualifying, getting 1 time in, and thankfully only going down to P13 at the end of it. But still, 7 positions gained for him at the start is fantastic. Raikkonen doing well as Kazingal, and a couple of 4 positions gained for Composite and Pavlo nearer the back after some pit stops. There's your race strategies. Of course, nothing that I mentioned other than the medium hard. Don't ever try a pre-stop unless you have to. It's just not worth it. Try to keep an eye, but the first, looks like first 10 potentially are all just settling in for this race as we speak. DRS, of course, is activated this lap. They would have had it down the back straight. Pipke with a new fastest lap, of course, as he has done his first full racing lap. Andre picks it up again, though. 20.0. We'd like to see him further up the grid after his bad qualifying. Johnny makes a move into turn 1, just seen off in the distance there by Johnny. He is not as confident as I thought he might be around this track based off his recent performances. DRS isn't actually on for him. Must have not quite got it from Pipke. Young Agility almost sends a move down the inside of the McLaren there. Goes for the switchback into the double right-hander. He might actually do it, you know. He's alongside just about. He's going to... Wow, Oliver Behrman, eat your heart out. You might have made a good move on Max Verstappen, but this is a new championship leader here in DTR. D Summers, have that. That will definitely be recorded. And we will show that a little later on. Brilliant standards as always. Yep, of course. Of course. Hummer getting really close to getting past D Summers. Slightly off track there from the Red Bull driver. D Summers is dropping down the order incredibly quickly. I'm not sure if he's picked up damage somewhere or potentially just a damaged ego after having 2 brilliant moves put on him. But that is not good news for your championship leader. Not much ERS either in that McLaren. He's not going to be able to fight a move into turn 1. Ipke is being caught up by Johnny. He's going to make a move down the inside under DRS in turn 1 and slowly fly off into the distance with the DRS again. Double DRS through this track means that, of course, if you're ahead in turn 1, you still have the DRS from the previous part of the track. try and keep an eye on all the moves going on. Tiny Penguin might be completely out of racing after his pull starts, but he hasn't crashed out just yet, so Prophecy has not landed. Andre up in P8 takes a lot of grass on that inside. Don't want to do that too often, but it is the line. DRS on D-Rush in front after his poor start on the hard tyres, having a slight spin in turn 4. We'll keep an eye on the guys out in front. Of course, they will be the first to make it towards turn 1. And under DRS, plenty of moves to be made with 80% battery for that Ferrari of Bibke. Still, the gap not improving that much. Johnny running an incredibly low wing setup, meaning he can just drive down the straight with a bit of ERS and keep positions on people behind with DRS as well as ERS. No moves this time around for the front runners, but we have seen Dingle get past Raikkonen well before turn 1 with the DRS assistance. Good move for you, sir. Albert Connor set a new fastest lap on some fresh, hard tyres. He has got some moves to make. Now, a quick look actually at the move early on from the Haas. We just about got all of it. It was going on for a little while, all the way through the start of Sector 2 on the McLaren of D. Summers. Championship leader or not, he's going to put a move on you, and it's clearly a very good one. Into the S's, move done. Fantastic stuff there. That is unbelievable. Back up to the front guys through the stadium section. Johnny looks to drop the DRS on Pipke. He might have done it, he might not have. We're about to find out. DRS is going to be opened for the Ferrari driver. He will be well pleased with that, with the young agility in the Haas right behind him. D. Summers also hanging in there with the DRS on. D. Rush right behind Barry Bogarovsky, threatening a move into turn 1. Well in the mirrors, but doesn't get anything done. Tom Putty does, though, on Skipper into turn 1. Skipper, no DRS for him, with the gap between him and Andre in front. That's an easy move done for the Mercedes driver. That's an interesting line through turn 1 for Lakatzis. A bit of grass picked up on that right-hand side. Piney Penguin, 3-second penalty, goes from bad to worse for the Whiteless Bird. And McLaren decides to drive off into the wall. Not sure if he just went, I don't know. He just went, I can't be bothered anymore. He went, I need a disadvantage. I have no idea. But the front end plate has been thrown away from Zingle. Clearly too much oversteer for his car and for his liking. The RB livery is, oh, this is you challenging me now, is from Miami. I think Raikkonen picks up a 3-second penalty behind Zingle. I think it's the Miami livery. I'm not 100%. Pipke has pitted. That is incredibly early for the Ferrari driver. Tyres might be cooked. Well, might were cooked. He's, of course, taken some fresh ones now. We've got Jack also pitting for a fresh wing, I would presume, after deciding to throw it all into the wall between 3 and 4. Albert Connor, new fastest lap again, a 19.8 to double lock up there. The Haas driver out in front of Hummer is not going to help your tyres at all, although I must admit the problem ones are actually the rear left and rear right, not the front. Bit of a kick out on exit as well. Oh, and he spun! And into the wall. I can't believe I'm actually doing really well as a commentator and catching all of this good stuff. Fantastic. Thank you, Omar. Unfortunately, that is you down to P9 for now and a completely front wing, completely missing front wing, I would presume. Well, actually, no, I think it's just the end plates. At least on both sides, but he will definitely be coming in to fit a new one of those. No safety car, no BSE for now. Has Benny managed to be a threat on the pursuit of the title? Well, if he's still here, he will definitely and very proudly be able to answer that question for you. We've got D. Summers into the pits, potentially fearing a safety car after the issue Hummer faced in the second sector. Young Exility will take the lead of the race for now. Got a dodgy thing going on screen. We'll have to investigate that afterwards. No. Well, there you go. There's your answer. Not particularly detailed, but there is an answer. Just looking up and down the grids, trying to see who we've got battling. We've got a battle between Composite, D. Summers, who's just come out of the pits on some fresh hard tyres. He makes the move with one reasonably easy there. He'll be off the road pretty quickly on the new fresh tyres. That comes out of the pits with his new front wing, looking to not spin again. What's the gap between the title now? Ooh. Come on, Benny, you can be my Ted Kravitz. Now getting British running away with it. I wouldn't say that, considering you beat me yesterday. D. Summers, 3-second penalty. That is not going to help you in your lead of the Drivers' Championship. Nathan, 3 seconds for you. Of course, that's not so much of a loss when he's down in P17. Sorry, mate. Andre and Tom Putty going at it, actually. Of course, actually, I know I'm wrong because he's in the pits getting his new tyres. Tom Putty started on the hards. And so he'll be going longer into the race than most. So many pitters going on. We've just seen a move by the looks of it by Lekatsis, but he's going to be re-overtaken by Johnny. Fresher tyres versus older tyres. Showcased here. And that is a 3-second warning. 3-second penalty. I beg your pardon. Out of the first couple of corners there. Penalty Rush has caught up to the back of Exility, of course, seeing... let me don't get this wrong. Being on the same lap, not pitting on starting, and having the same lap old tyres. But the medium's absolutely cooked after just a few laps around here. The hard will definitely be coming into it with this amount of track done. Sometimes I do wonder what on earth I'm saying. Tom Putty, of course, as I mentioned, the other man starting hard tyres in third. The Haas driver in the lead decides it's time to finally replace those worn out medium tyres. Fastest lap for user 19.2 takes that away from his teammate Alan Connor down in P10, trying to make moves after a slightly dodgy start. Pipke's under threat from D. Summers into turn 1. It's going to be tricky. He's just about alongside. That's a horrendous camera. Makes the move under the brakes. Pipke, a man of good racing and space giving, he will not have fought that too hard. He knows that he has plenty of pace to be used up. Got a bit of a battle going on between Bog and Andre behind. Bog not got a massive amount of straight line speed with the higher wing setup he has run in these two races today and yesterday. Andre makes the move under the RS into turn 4. Tiny Penguin, 10-second penalty for I wasn't speeding in the pit lane. That is no good for him. He has DNF from the session. That is unfortunate. Unfortunately, if he sticks to his word, we won't be seeing him again. I would like that to not be true. I would see him race in future here in DTR season 14. Ipke right on the back of Summers. All the way through that final section. A little bit slower on the traction out of the final corner, but of course the ERS and DRS will be enabled down this straight. Actually flown away there, the McLaren. Having to defend from the Haas behind. Young Exility is going to make a move around the outside, or at least try one on the brakes. That is fantastic to get ahead. Ipke lets him through. Fantastic move again from the Haas driver in a different place this time, showing off his racing prowess. That is fantastic. By Penguin, yes. Yeah. Flipped and slided like a penguin on ice in their natural habitat. only it's not his natural habitat. And now he's gone. No, goodbye. Goodbye, sir. Vicky and Andre, again, ever consistent, unlike Mr. Connor, unfortunately. Although maybe you could say he is consistent in having just annoying little issues in races. Although he makes a move on a Red Bull, that is Hummer. Hummer is disastrously far down the order, 48 seconds off the back of Nathan. Really, really not a good race for that Red Bull driver, but he's sticking with it, unlike some. Like this, Bert. Oh, you can catch that up. You got about the 48-second gap. Young Exility into turn 1, locked both of the front tyres. That won't do you any favours, but is he going to try again into turn 4? We'll find out. This DRS is open. I thought it was closed there, but DRS detection, or rather the DRS start line, isn't for a little bit later on than I first thought. No move for him there. I've changed some of the settings, and the colour on that rear wing looks really quite nice. Been a while. Johnny going nicely on the hard tyre. This is exactly what you want in this kind of race with the tyre wear. Oh, 10 points. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely doable. With his pace, Miyagi's pace, he'll definitely be able to do that. As I was saying, yeah, Johnny out in a bit of no man's land here, but honestly, around this track is exactly what you want, especially if the drivers ahead of you haven't got DRS trains going on. Keeps the tyres much more in check with where Young Exility just dropped out of the DRS detection through the final section there. It might have been actually D Summers was really struggling on those medium tyres, and the hard are doing you much more favour in the tyre wear department now. Two Ferraris right behind, can't make any moves. Jump on board with Lakatzis as he's the next man going through these first few parts of the lap with DRS assistance. Plenty close enough to the McLaren in front. He's birdie, slowly making the pace up. Going to go around the outside on the medium tyres, move done before turn 1 and into the braking zone. Good move for him there with his front wing damage as well. Ombeer, he's next man on track to try and make a move on. Have a quick look at tyres. After all the pit stops, we have two out in front, Tom Putty and D-Rush, who have yet to pit on the hard tyres. Cards on those, I assume if they're going to go for a one stop, want to go to around lap 20 or 21. If you're going to go for a two stop, any time now really is going to do you decently well. Johnny, the man in net P1, 6 laps on his hard tyres, one of the earlier pitters. Of course, the undercut around here is absolutely huge. D Summers, despite his penalty, sits in P4 on track. Just keeping a little bit of train behind him, more than enough speed into turn 1 to maintain that position all the way. A little bit of hesitancy on the throttle out of the first few corners. Rear not enjoying that at all, and he's going to have a threatening pass down the inside, absolutely sending it around the outside. He's always going to lose out usually on the outside of the corner there. The double right-hander now, he will just have to concede that position. A fantastic attempt at a move. He's going to have to try harder. He's going to go past the world champion, the current man on track to win the world championship in this division. Wiser to the move this time, I would suspect. D Summers haven't kind of picks up 3 seconds because he's a numpty. Fantastic racing provided by the reserve driver here in the Haas. And D-Rush has pulled the trigger on his first pit stop. He will take the 14 lap old hard tyres off and replace them for some fresh mediums. DRS again for the Haas. He's got the ERS on. He's going to try and make the move into turn one. D Summers goes defensive on the inside, squeezes him to the outside. He's late on the brakes. He's going to have much more of a position to take into turn two. Switchback potentially for Summers, but after his dodgy exit last time, I wouldn't think he's going to have enough. And with a DRS to assist Young Exility down into turn four, that is a move done and dusted for the reserve driver. Now up into P3, P2. After we see, oh, big kick. After we see Tom Putty take his first stop. Again, a lot of wheel spin there. Just needs to calm it down on the throttle, I'd say. Keep those tyres in a nice temperature window, at least what you can do. Johnny for the win. Well, yes, he's definitely looking the most likely to win, but of course with safety cars and VSCs and strategies being a little bit funky around here, an undercut can definitely make the difference. Even if the gap is 5.7 as we speak. E. Summers looking to try and put a fight onto the Haas into turn one, goes defensive like Summers did last time, doesn't go late enough on the brakes to try and make it around the outside of the Haas. Big kick there, he's going to make the advantage of that. He's going to go well at the inside of the Haas as he goes almost off track. DRS is going to help him to stay ahead of the Haas into turn four. Very opportunistic move there, fantastic. We'll get that recorded and play that later on. Johnny right on the back of Tom Putty now. Don't want to lose too much time behind this car, of course. I don't think Tom Putty will fight it too hard. NLD Rush picks up a 3-second penalty. That's going to help your race. Two Ferraris watching this must be exciting to watch, but with a dirty air and the hot tire temps, not too happy about it. See if Tom Putty comes in this lap, or is he going for the one stop? It looks to me like he's going for the one stop. Definitely not the worst idea in the world, but of course now this is going to be a nice and easy move for our race leader into P1 officially, from net to actual. Running for the win? Honestly, I'd put my house on it right now. Young Exility in the Haas down the inside. He's going to try and make the move back on D Summers, side by side through turn two as well. A switchback move potentially for the McLaren driver doesn't do him enough. Fantastic wheel-to-wheel action from these two up in the front. Pavlo picks up a 3-second penalty. You conquer. This is incredible. As much as I thought the racing around this track is hard with the tyre wear, these two are proving me wrong with the hard tyre. Got a few moves going on down the back. Lacazette has made a move on Pombeer for P12. I think actually Raikkonen had a move on Kazingo. Yep, he's got the DRS, so must have been behind at the start of the lap. Two moves there, well done. Do a little bit of off-board watching. Two Ferraris sitting pretty. In fact, no, they're not. Andre picks up 3 seconds. That is a rookie mistake, going too wide. Left-hand side of the bollard into the pit lane means he has a 3-second penalty now to serve at the end of his race. E. Summers and Exility going at it again into turn one. A lock-up for the inside right of the Haas driver. Still has plenty of speed and a bit of distance on the McLaren to keep his position, but the McLaren down the outside is squeezed. He's going to send it anyway. Side by side again through four. Takes the inside line, a much better line through turn five into the double right-hander. He will make that move and keep it. These two going blow for blow. He's fantastic. kept reasonably clean. It's not exactly the easiest thing to do with this track. Some of these corners are always going to throw you off when trying to go 2x2 through them. I have to stick on board because I'm missing the start of these fights. My apologies to everyone else who wants some screen time, but these two are pulling off some fantastic overtakes, keeping us entertained. Pass on the back of the McLaren. Down the inside, he's going to go. On the brakes, thinks wiser of it. Didn't quite have the speed there to get alongside into turn one. After the amount of lockups he's had, I'm not surprised he started to think a little more wisely about making moves under braking. Pipke, despite looking like the leader early on, being held up massively by the guys in front, when the guy in front of you has DRS and someone else. So hard to get past. We have Lacazes in the pit once again. Look at the penalties as we are over halfway through the race now. 3 seconds for most, 6 seconds for Connor, Kazingle and Brother Adam, as well as Nathan. No more than that for now. We saw a few 15s yesterday in Division 1. Hopefully we won't have a repeat of that for anybody. Putty is finally into the pits, but his hard tyre stop. That will be fresh mediums for the last 16 laps of this race, I'd have thought. Again, edging up to the back of the McLaren. Down the inside he goes. Under braking, side by side again, locks the fronts. Aaron gives way this time, goes a little wide, trying to get switchback potentially through turn 3, but it won't be enough, and the DRS will make sure of that. Andre sets a new fastest lap in his new boots, new hard boots. Beer gets past Brother Adam, who is also in the pits after his teammate just pitted. We've got racing at the moment. It's actually just the front four with the DRS. Is Pipke finally going to try and make a move on D Summers into the section, stadium section? Doesn't quite do it. D Summers with a defensive line. I would absolutely love Pipke to get involved with this fight here. Right on the back of that McLaren through the final sector. If he can just get a good run, might be able to make an impression into turn 1. The DRS advantage, in fact, for the Ferrari. A few back markers coming out there in front of these guys. Can't do anything about D Summers into turn 1, who can't do anything about Young Exility into turn 1. In fact, he goes a little bit deep, trying to get as close as possible. Going down to have Connor and check up on him this race. He did have Pombear right on the back of him, but he's just crawled into the pits for some new tyres. Jack, of course, and Pablo getting past Pombear as they come round, the final turn. Pipke again having a look down the inside of Summers into the stadium section, nothing doing. The straight not long enough there. Yellow flag behind. Not exactly sure what that was for. Everyone seems to be going well enough. E Summers again looking to try and make a move on the Haas in front. 9/10 the gap, and Johnny's in. He's making sure no one is undercutting him. Fresh hard tyres for you. He will be coming out, but there's a game glitch which doesn't show it. There he is. No move for Summers into turn 1, as well as Pipke. D-rush on the back of these guys now with his medium tyres. Andre picks up another fastest lap again. 18.9 now for him. 7-lap all mediums for D-Rush. Will he go to the end on these? I'm going to have to say no. I'm going to have to say no. Wojciechowski having a reasonably quiet race, I think, in P5. Not seen him up to too much. He isn't a massive fan of that after a slightly boring race yesterday. 6 seconds, the gap between him and Johnny, net leader. And D Summers has dropped out of the DRS of Young Exility ahead of him, unless he can get back into it in this final sector, which he seems to be having a good go at least. He's going to have a quick look in the mirrors coming down into turn 1. Pipke and the D-Rush behind, but of course he's straight into the pits. All 3 of them into the pits there. No undercuts for any of those guys. Nathan picks up a fastest lap. That's unusual, but I'm very welcome. Very welcome to the idea of Nathan setting fastest laps. Johnny, of course, comes out well ahead of everyone behind him. Actually just past Tom Puddy by the looks of it, who is going for our 1-stop. 3-lap old mediums for him. They will be pretty dead by the end of this race. Johnny with a lap car ahead of him, just moving out of the way. Og and Havant Connor. Og comes out of the pits. Connor has made a move past him. D Summer picks up another 3-second penalty through the first couple of corners. That will be no good for him. He's actually got Skipper behind him, but not for long. He goes down the inside of the Kicksauber there in the little in the distance. Good move from the Ferrari man. Of course, his next move is essentially just to get back into the DRS of D Summers ahead. It shouldn't be too hard. D Summers is right up the back of the Haas driver. So it should be a little bit slower through this section, which will allow the Ferrari back into this. Brother Adam picks up 3 seconds. There's a Kicksauber off the track and out of the way back there. Whoa, that's a bit of touchy-feely into a part of the track you really do not want it. Deep into the stadium section for the McLaren. No damage done, I don't think. DRS will be opened and ERS will be turned on. No DRS for Pipke is a shame. He might be able to get some if he can speed up this lap. On be a 3-second penalty for you, D Summers. On the brakes into turn 1, the Haas just much better on the brakes there, around the outside. Keeps the position well before they've even got thinking about turning left hand down for turn 2. The DRS is going to help the McLaren once again into turn 4 around the outside. The Haas again on the brakes, strong for the inside line. Win out here for the McLaren. Fantastic racing from 2 people. Incredible amount of wheel-to-wheel racing shown. This is definitely the cleanest I've seen this division. Of course, a few skirmishes on the first few laps, but that's always going to happen, especially around a track like this. But the cleanest race for sure, I think, that I've seen these guys drive. A nice improvement, of course. D Summers on the back of Andre, but not in DRS. He will be under threat again from the Haas behind him. These two going blow for blow, as I mentioned earlier. Wow, look at that. 11 positions gained for Andre. Let's see how many of those he can keep. Nothing doing this time for the Haas. Once again, just keeping the Haas at arm's distance. Maybe he's starting to get a handle of these tyres. As I say that, Young Exility takes a big snap out of turn 5. Again, a little bit of a correction on the wheel. Make sure he doesn't lose that car. Pipke has just about managed to get into DRS. Fantastic stuff for him, plus a nice big full battery he can use down the straight. D-Rush into the pit for a new set of mediums, I think that is. Yes, a double medium for him after starting on the hard tyre. 10 laps to go. Andre under threat, but nothing doing for the McLaren into turn 1 unless he makes a late braking move, which I don't think he will. That's too far back. Connor looking to P7 after his woes is not bad at all. Hopefully he's not going to pit again, but I think he might. No, 6 laps on those hards. He will definitely be taking those to the end. He can keep that position, that would be fantastic, but D-Rush will be nice and quick on some fresh tyres now. These 4, 2 Ferraris, the Haas and McLaren, all the way through this next section. The 30A is going to be doing you no favours, a bit wide there from the McLaren. Keeps it on track though, she hasn't been doing too much of. Could be worth doing that a little bit more in the last few laps of this race. What, 10 laps? We've still got 10 laps to go. Andre making the most of the back marker there, DRS and ERS on, although he's run out pretty quickly. The McLaren is also run out, she turned it off. Whether he thought he was going to get the move done anyway, or in fact maybe he just doesn't want to get the move done around the outside of turn 2. He's going to have a try. Good attempt for sure. That was incredibly opportunistic. I know a lot of people, including myself, would have seen the slight mistake from the Ferrari and just let it be. A bit of grass on the right-hand side tyres there. I don't know how that hasn't ruined him into turn 4. Haas is not going to be happy with this. He does not want to lose touch with D. Summers. Good move there from D. Summers. Could have been very, very sketchy with the grass on the right-hand side. Always spins me out when I go on it. Of course, I don't have the ABS to assist me. There. But yeah, the grass always makes it much, much harder to brake, especially into the heavy braking zones, which turn 4 is definitely one of them. That is Tom Putty ahead. He pits for his final time. Andre and Zinti. Will any of them have a go in turn 1 here? That's far too big for the Ferrari. That is desperately going to want to get past Andre. Okay, just sitting back again in DRS. Not a bad race for him, but I think he probably thought there could have been a little bit more after starting on pole. Will we see a dive down the inside here? Of course we will. This Haas driver's been sending them all day. But the Ferrari's got plenty of tyre wear to fight it back. Potential switchback, but no, Ferrari's got that covered. And it was a bit wide anyway from the Haas in turn 5. So much more pace in the Haas, you can just tell by how he's sticking to the back of that Ferrari all the way through sectors 2 and 3. Just the stadium section where you lose that gap, you just have to fight it as hard as you can all the way down the straight. Of making moves on back markers. Havoc Connor has been overtaken by D-Rush. Apologies for missing that one. A bit of front wing damage for D-Rush. Yes, left end plate is missing. Didn't take a new wing at any of his stops. Connor will have a generous portion of DRS for this straight. At least be thanking NLD Rush for that. Again, no moves out in front. Andre's still sticking within that DRS of the McLaren in P2. No moves again. We'll have a quick few seconds to appreciate this man and his stonking race. He started, let's just check where he started. He started down in P4. Yes, that was it. P4 and P5, the 2 RBs. He's now P1 and with a gap of nearly 11 seconds to the rest of the field. Fantastic race for Johnny. Andre and Pipke, of course, ever consistent in their Ferraris. E3 and 5 for now. They would be absolutely ecstatic with that sort of finish. Of course, once penalties come into it, Andre will be losing at least the 2 positions that we can see if it stays as is. A yellow in sector 3 for a Mercedes. Who is that? Brother Adam? Brother Adam spun at the end of the S's in sector 3. Almost gets Lacazette on the way back on track, but doesn't. Looks like his front wing is fine, but the tyres definitely won't be. Whether they'll be interested in pitting for a new set or not, we'll have to wait and see. And will he go into the pits? Yes, he will. Andre drops out of the DRS detection zone to D Summers in the last lap. D Summers actually making good ground on Johnny out in front. I'm sure it's going to be much, much tougher than you could ever expect to gain that sort of time in just 6 laps. But you'll definitely give it a go. This, of course, means Andre is going to be vulnerable into turn 1, and this man makes the most of almost any opportunity and just makes opportunities for himself where you wouldn't expect them. Pipke as well, right on the back of this Haas. Looks like it could be a 2-for-1 done here on Andre. In fact, right on board and look back, see if these guys can make these moves. On the inside, the Haas will go. Position A into turn 1 means he can defend that much, much more easily than he usually would be able to into turn 2 and 3. DRS, of course, again down this little straight into turn 4 means that he will keep that position. Will Pipke be let past by his teammate Andre? Looks like he will, although he's fighting it reasonably enough. To lose too much time, of course. That is a good move done there by the Ferrari teammates. Young Exility with a task on his hands now. Can he reel in E. Summers? Lots of speed taken into there from Pipke. Much, much more within that 1 second gap of the Haas in front. This will be good for him going into turn 1. DRS is on, ERS is burning in the slipstream of the Haas, but not for much longer as he moves, darts to the right hand side to try and break that toe. Into turn 1, thinks about the outside, thinks about the inside, but unfortunately just backs out with not enough pace to make it under the brakes into turn 1. Will he try into turn 4? No, much, much more of a gap for Young Exility out there. D Summers. D Rush is trying to defend from Happy Connor into turn 4. DRS got him real close into turn 1 as I was keeping my eye on the leaderboard. Not enough, making a move into turn 5. Nathan picks up a 3-second penalty. We'll have a quick look at those again just before the race ends, see who we can see moving up and down the grid. Reasonably hesitant through the S section. Find another car in dirt. Yeah, Ombier makes a move on Pavlo for P14 in the distance. Not in the distance, but down the order. Go on, get a good exit and get that car into P5. There's a poor exit, a bit of commentator's curse there, it seems. Doesn't do Connor any favours. Of course, Connor is meant to be the man with a bit of a disadvantage after his race at the start. A brilliant bit of side-by-side action from the Haas again, this time with Pipke He's going to go again around the outside of the Haas into turn 4. Not going to do. Switchback could be on for turn 5. Takes a decent line. Doesn't quite get the pace in as a look, but thinks better of it. Why is that? Get the battery harvesting and see if you can go again next lap. Ombeer and Pavlo seem to be just going at it. Whoa, that's interesting. Yeah, not sure about that. Disqualified. Okay. That was interesting. That will definitely be going for the stewards, at least in some capacity. Going back to the guys out in front, Pipke is in the DRS and DRS of the Haas in front, weaving to get him out of the tow, which you are able to do as long as you've got plenty of space between you and the car behind. Down the inside again, the Haas on the brakes, really good, but this time the Ferrari just lets off a little bit earlier. The Haas goes off into turn 3 onto the grass. That is a mistake that he did not want to make. That is the advantage to the Ferrari all the way down this straight. He will be losing out there big time, out of the DRS already. He would not want to be out of the DRS by the time they've come around that final corner. Connor looking actually to take a move on D-Rush. Might have had the younger tyres, but he's got the mediums, which will degrade much faster. Under traction, just can't get the power down versus the Williams. Yellow flag in sector 1. Might be lap drivers getting out of the way. Bogarovsky has joined the fight. Connor and D-Rush. Plenty of front and rear wing on this car, so I wouldn't imagine he'll be able to be making any moves, although we can see the two in front still going at it all the way through sector 3. Connor with much more grip by the looks of it, taking much better lines. Come on, give us a good camera angle. Into turn 1, this surely is Connor's this time. Much more speed. He's got the move well before the straight has even ended. Bogarovsky has a cheeky dive down the inside for good measure on the Williams. That's 2 for 1. Unfortunately, D-Rush has almost spun out after losing 2 positions. Do not do that. You've only got 2 laps left to go. A P7 is still good if you can keep on putting it out of your penalty range. A little bit quieter up here. Young Exility looks like he might have just managed to grab the DRS on that lap. Ipke, D Summers and Johnny having fantastic races. Young Exility showing that he can race wheel to wheel spectacularly. Have a quick look at the tyre between these guys. Yeah, the Haas not with the speed this time. He will not make a move into turn 1. Too far back this time around. Connor to be up into P5 is fantastic. In fact, we're going to quickly look at penalties. 12 seconds is going to absolutely ruin him though. Andre makes a move on Tom, putting into turn 1. Easily done under the DRS. I'm going to jump on board with Johnny through this last sector. He has had an astounding race, absolutely dominant all the way through. And once he got ahead, he didn't look back. 9.5 seconds the gap between him and P2 all the way through the final section. He comes. Fireworks are for him this time round. The V-car will take a win as his teammate picks up yet another 3-second penalty. 15 seconds for him now will be doing no good for their Constructors' Championship. D Summers comes across the line in P2 with 6 seconds of penalties. That's going to drop him off the podium with Pipke and Exility picking up those places. P2 for Pipke and 3 for Young Utility. D Summers drops to P4, but of course that will be seen in safe hands with a 13-second gap behind those guys. Havoc Connor 5th on the road. Unfortunately, Bog, D-Rush, Andre, and Tom all jump him. He's down to P9. Tom Putty also jumping Andre there right at the very end with the penalties as they were. Skipper 28 seconds off, but he will maintain the final points position in P10. No penalties for you. Fantastic race with no penalties. The Cats is in 11th, 6 seconds of penalties for him will put him behind Raikkonen, which is almost not a shame because P11 is always really annoying. 1 point, one position rather, away from the points. And there you have it. Mexico Division 2. I must admit, I made a joke at the start about the racing standards around this track with this division, saying they weren't going to be very good. But they were actually superb, at least from most of the drivers tonight that we saw on stream. A funky dance for a funky man on P1. Johnny takes his nice big cup. He'll put some Welsh drink in it and enjoy that massive 12-second lead he maintained all the way to the end. Pipke started on pole, but a P2 is still fantastic news for him. Young Agility up from P6. Incredible moves shown all the way through the race. Fantastic for him. D Summers a little bit unfortunate after just not really having the pace on the medium tyres and then losing out on the hards with the penalties he had. Could have been P2 for him tonight, but just couldn't keep it on track. Unfortunate there. Bog, a much stronger race for him tonight, especially compared to last week's race. After not making it out of turn 1, a P5 from P7 is fantastic. D-Rush didn't have the best of strategies and also just held up by different people at different points, so he lost out 3 positions for his race. Tom Putty, Andre, Havoc Connor and Skipper make up your final points position winners. Andre picked up the fastest lap. That is fantastic for the Ferrari drivers as usual. And there you have it. Ooh, that was tricky to keep up with. I'm pretty sure I say that every week. But with all the pit stops and different strategies and moves going on, that was a fantastic race from D2 there. But a little bit of a sad note, unfortunately, because we are going into a break. 2-week break for Christmas, of course. I hope you all have a lovely Christmas and a Happy New Year. We will be returning in 3 weeks' time for Brazil. Division 1, of course, will be Wednesday. I believe that's the 7th. And, of course, I will be here for Division 2 on Thursday, the 8th of January. So I'll hope to see you all here again then. I have been Grellis33. Have a good Christmas, and I will see you soon enough.